Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cape Complainers. Joining me, as always, are the Cape Complainers. I have Devin, Reed, Flippo, and guess who's back again? It's Tim. We've been waiting for him to show up.
Boo!
He-
Boo! We hate that guy. He's the worst.
I
Who
missed
said that? I'll
you.
beat you up.
I missed you a lot. I'm glad you're back. And today's episode, we will be discussing the newest Sony Spider-Verse movie, Madam Web.
Heaping pile of shit.
Yeah, so before we do that, Devin, Devin, what
That's coming out
heaping,
strong.
yeah, Devin, what heaping pile of shit do you have for us today?
Boom.
I thought long and hard about this, guys. Let's say you were abducted by
That
aliens,
way.
by like space aliens. Because some of
Okay.
you, I feel like I need to.
I already
clarify
hate
that.
this. I
Yeah,
already
same.
hate this.
What would be the first thing you say to the aliens? Like, what would your first words to the aliens be?
Hey, what are you looking for? Because maybe I can speed this up. Whatever you're looking for, man.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I would just scream. Like, I don't think I would actually say words. It would just be like, I'd be on this ship seeing things that, I mean, I do think aliens exist, but just to actually like see it and get validation, I would just be too stricken with holy
I
shit.
think that would be more of a reaction, but like Devin's
After
like,
the reaction,
thing-
what's the first?
Yeah.
What's the first like verbal thing you'll say? Is it like you want a Snickers?
Prob-
Not you when you're hungry.
Yeah.
What?
I'd
it-
probably just be like, "Why'd you choose me, man? Like, there's literally 7 billion people on this planet. What made you go to random ass Wyoming
yeah,
and pick up the first bald guy you saw?"
yeah.
How
live
much
in
am
a
I
house
getting paid to do
alone.
this?
I would be like, listen, there's a guy in Wyoming. Go get him. Like, I'll
He's
I'll,
perfect for this.
Perfect
Yeah.
specimen.
I'll help you find him. Just leave me alone.
Am I the chosen one? No, your friend in Texas just sold you out. Fuck.
I'm just,
It was Devin, wasn't it?
I'm on the ship. I'm
I
like,
knew it.
I'm on the ship. I'm like, Tim, welcome. Glad you're here.
If it turned out to be like just torture and death, I would beat the crap out of you. If
Yeah.
it turned out to be like we're adventurers on some space adventure, like Odyssey, and we become heroes of the galaxy, I would probably do some very nice things. To you.
Yeah.
What if it was?
Yeah,
what
Doctor
if it
Who
was the
unzips
second
his
one?
alien suit. Oh, it's just me.
What if it was that
You
second
messed
one?
that
but
up,
they
Reed.
knew-
You messed that up. You should have said, "Hey, it's just me. Oi, you want some tea and crumpets?" Oh,
Fish
no,
fingers
no.
and
You can't make fun of the British shit? Okay.
What if it was the second one, Tim? They were adventurers, but they needed a sacrifice, and they chose you as the sacrifice, but didn't tell you.
And that's how they run their engine, is just sacrifices.
Oh my god.
They're
I'd
space
be like,
engine.
are you serious? Why'd you only pick up one of us? What if you get stuck somewhere? You should have at least picked up 5 sacrifices.
Yeah.
You dummies.
I think
Yeah, we
my
could podcast that the whole
and then Tim
time.
lists address of everybody in Texas that he knows.
I
Yeah.
know, I'll be like, Devin is at 2218 Dum Dum Avenue.
Got him.
He could fill your engine up twice.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
yeah.
It
I-
might smell like burnt hair for a week.
He is very hairy,
Yeah.
especially on
Oh
his
no,
face.
you did trim. You
I
I-
did.
trim,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I think my reaction would be like what Tim said. Like, if it's just straight torture, my reaction would be different than what my reaction would be like if we're just there to hang out. So I don't know if they're there to torture me, my reaction would be, "Ah!" And then if we're there to hang out, I'd be like, all right, cool. What do you want to do? And I don't know. Y'all want to play
What if
Harold?
they,
wanna
what if
play
they say they just want to
Helldivers?
hang out, but they pull out this very advanced alien board game and just keep crushing you at it, and then they make fun of you for it?
All right,
Or play it again.
all right, Tim.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be like our version of Risk?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Tim,
Yeah.
you get abducted and they say we're going to destroy the planet unless you play Helldivers with us. But we have to get all the samples, all the stuff
Every time.
every time.
What difficulty? What difficulty?
Suicide or what? Helldiver.
Trivial.
Oh God, trivial. Yes, no problem. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That'd give Greg
Helldiver.
some
Oh my
problems.
God.
Okay.
Flippo, what about you? What would be the first thing you say when you see when you're abducted unwillingly from your bed at night?
Honest God, bro, I say, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
I thought his internet went out for a second when there was that pause. I was like, oh shit.
Now there's usually a delay with Flippo, so. Well, okay.
Yeah,
good.
no, mine.
Oh.
I didn't get to say what mine was.
Say what your stupid thing is then.
I would just tell them that they chose wrong. There are so many better specimens than me. Why? You chose wrong, man.
All right, here's the question. The aliens say, hey, we're either going to probe and torture you for like 5 years, or you sell out one of your friends on the podcast. Like they picked up our podcast on a galactic radio channel, and they hate us. And they say, Devin, you alone will be tortured for 5 years, or you can sell out one of your other complainers to be tortured for 50 years.
Okay,
Who would it be?
Greg.
What?
Damn, not even
Well, here I can't choose Reed because he got a family. I got a family.
I have a family,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's it.
Wow.
Just screw me and my family. Fair enough.
So it's me tortured for 5 years. Would they be okay in this fake scenario? Are they dismembering anything?
No, it's
Or
just
will I have all my digits, all my penis stuff?
so. Let's say
everything stays
let's say you'll get tortured every day, and then at the start of the next day you're completely healed. So like say
Wait, is
they
this like you're tortured till you pass out?
sure, but like
Oh, yeah, great.
well no, not even till you pass out. Like once you wake up, you get tortured again. But like at midnight of every day. Like say like they cut off your fingers, the next day your fingers are back, and that happens to you
I feel
for 50
like
years.
I would initially say just I can take it for 5 years, right? Because I'm regenerating. It's not like I'm losing 5 years of my life.
Mhm.
They're putting me back to the state that I was in. But then, like after day one, I'd be like, "All right, is that other deal still on the table?"
Okay.
Well,
Here's my reasoning. You ready?
who are you selling out, Tim?
Do any of you guys want to volunteer to be sold out?
No, like you can't like it's like, hey, we're gonna keep
Is
torturing
this
you.
phone a friend on the alien ship?
Yeah, we're
Hey,
gonna-
real quick,
we're gonna torture
we're
the hell
discussing
out
it
of you.
now, so if I ever get kidnapped, I'll know that one of you guys volunteered. Jesus. Do you
Well,
want
here's-
to take a bullet for your fellow complainers?
Yeah, be a
Here's
bro.
my reasoning for Greg. You ready? I have a kid. Reed has a kid. So nah, brah.
Tim doesn't have a
Tim-
kid.
No, let me finish. Tim would I feel like Tim would be like, I'm gonna tough it out. So he'll be tortured the longest because he's gonna refuse to pass out. And he'll just like fight through the pain. I feel like Greg's gonna be there. and
I
they're gonna, like, stick a
deserve it
needle in him.
more. Is
No,
that
no.
what you're saying? Like I
No.
deserve to
If
be
the idea-
tortured more than the rest of y'all?
No. If the idea is that like they stop when you pass out,
They
I feel
don't.
like they'll come in.
They
and-
won't.
No, they will though because you'll pass out.
They
and they're like, well,
won't
he's not gonna
because
scream.
that's the scenario I gave you. Like you can pass out, and the second you wake up, they're like, "Okay, welcome back."
I know.
Could
I
cut
know,
off a
but hear
finger.
me out. No, I know, but hear me out. So they'll come in with like a needle, or they'll like just like pinch you, and you'll be like, ah, and
Okay.
you pass out. And so the second any kind of pain and like happens to you, you just pass out. So they don't even get to the good stuff.
So your
I
I
reason,
don't know. I feel like Greg probably has the highest pain tolerance,
Yes.
considering he's had like a million surgeries.
yeah. So your reason behind me being the one tortured for 50 years is one, I don't have a family. I borderline deserve it, and I'm the weakest one of all of us, and that I would just pass out and be a big wuss. Is that what
You know
you're
what,
telling
Greg?
me, Devin?
Greg, why don't you answer your own question? Who would you choose?
Devin,
Well, we know we can choose
100%. After this conversation, it's 100% going to be Devin every time. They're going to be like, "You have to choose," and then like I won't even need like a moment. I'll just be like, Devin, he's the one.
Greg's gonna have a card in his wallet that has all of my personal information, my address, a picture of me. They can just be like, hang on.
I already do.
This is who you're looking for.
Here's a social.
Yeah, I already have that. So I'm ready to go. All right. Well, good thought, Devin. Appreciate
Don't be
you.
offended. You
Don't
asked
be
that question.
offended of me being tortured.
Oh, okay. Who asked that question, Greg? Who brought up that question?
It was the mere fact that you knew exactly who it was, like at the very start. Like there was no hesitation.
Hey,
It
I
hurt.
don't think
He's
I
really
would-
excited about it too.
I don't
right?
think.
Yeah,
that I
it
would
hurt.
give this-
Excited?
No, because I don't think they'd give you a chance to be like, all right, you have 10 minutes to decide who you want. I think they'd be like, tell us now.
Whatever.
I made a play.
Whatever. Hey, someone's knocking on my door. Get taken.
Take Devin, take Devin, take Devin.
yeah.
You're screaming at you.
All right, good thought, Devin. So let's go on ahead and get into our topic of discussion. As we said at the top of the show, it's Madam Web, Sony's latest Spider-Verse wannabe movie. It is not great. Critics and fans agree that this is a movie that maybe should not have happened. And I 100% agree with that. But let's hear y'all's thoughts. Tim, did you have time to watch the movie?
I watched half of it, and it is really bad.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with everything you guys said because it was really bad.
It
Mhm.
was a chore.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was very exhausting. I felt I felt bad for Adam Scott's character who plays Ben, Uncle Ben.
Which was crazy to me when I heard his name. I was like, "Wait, Ben Parker? That sounds so familiar."
Yeah.
I did not hear
And I
the.
was like,
I did not hear the name Parker. I guess
I
I
didn't
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, it's Uncle Ben, and
Yeah.
I felt bad for him because he was the only one in the movie I felt who was
Does
actually
he come back
trying.
in after like the first 20 minutes?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's in throughout the whole movie.
a little bit.
Not like a huge
Oh,
role,
okay.
but like he'll pop back in and play crucial moments.
Also, the main bad guy,
Ezekiel
his voice
Sims.
was so weird.
Yeah, the
It
thing
wasn't
with
even his voice.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
don't
you
even
guys said
know.
that it was a different person dubbed over him. And I'm like, why did they choose that dub anyway? Like, it's still bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing with that is like even with the editing and everything, they never show his face or mouth right on. Like there's always editing where it's like he's facing away from the camera.
Uh-huh.
And like whenever like it like quick cuts from his mouth, but whenever you do see it, it's not matching what his mouth is doing.
And at that point, if you had that many problems, why don't you just replace him?
Yeah,
Exactly.
replace him or just don't make the movie. The movie was incredibly boring. It was a bad idea, a bad script, and just should not have happened. But for some reason, Sony wants to have their own thing. They lucked out with Venom, because Venom 1, it didn't have the greatest writing in the world, but it was fun. Like you wanted to be in the theater and watch it. Like you had a good time. This movie, it had nothing. It felt like I was telling Devin this the other day. It felt like a prequel to the most boring movie ever. It was like the prequel, like this whole movie, nothing happened.
It's so weird because I didn't see Hubie Halloween in there anywhere.
Well, no, there were 2 minutes worth of footage where they were actually like in their suits, and the whole rest of the movie is them just running away from a Spider-Man wannabe.
Also, those suits were trash. They did not look good.
Yeah,
And B, like it was a dream sequence. It wasn't even like they were actually in them.
yeah, it was a vision in the beginning, and then at the very end, it's a vision of the future. But it was just a really weak, not well thought out movie.
Now, like I'll add on. I even have a note in here. All the shots are weak too.
Mhm.
Like angles, like holding on to a scene was never long enough. You know, it always had to do a quick cut.
Yeah,
and,
the
like,
the pacing was all over the place in this movie.
Yeah.
It's
And-
like they go to a diner, then all of a sudden they're somewhere else, then she's got to go to Peru, and then it just it was all over the place, and it led nowhere. I'm
Yeah.
like, there was
Yeah.
no moment in this movie where like I understood what was happening. I was just like, this
Well,
is pointless.
it felt like a Columbia Pictures movie. Like I told you guys earlier, like it felt like that. Not Hugh Jackman, Johnny Depp movie with the window,
Mhm.
Secret Window.
Yeah.
Like it just felt like it was a suspense movie, but it didn't have a whole lot of suspense to it. Even the acting was not like on par with where it should have been. I
Mhm.
don't think there was any person in that movie that I was like, man, you're a good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dakota Johnson, just baseline, just nothing at all. No blips of good acting, no blips
Why-
of like
Why
dramatic.
Dakota Johnson?
Yeah, I don't know.
And she was terrible. I mean, like, I'm sure is a very talented actress. Like, the only thing I can think of else she's done is 50 Shades of Grey.
But it's the same. It's the same acting in there. too,
Yeah,
I
but like
believe,
I feel
what I've
like
heard.
yeah, the acting in this, like,
heard.
to go back to my first point, Adam Scott was the only one trying in this movie, and everybody else was just there.
Oh my God, those teenagers.
Yeah,
And also it's not hard to play an emotionless, bitch character, and then also too, it's not hard to play an angsty teen.
yeah.
Those two roles are not hard, and that's all this movie was.
It could just be bad writing and directing. It just wasn't a good movie because people
No.
are all up Sydney Sweeney's butt. They think that she's like the next big thing, and even in this movie, I'm like, who cares? I don't care about anybody in this movie besides Adam Scott, and I just felt bad for him the whole time.
I don't care
Ezekiel
about anybody.
Ezekiel could have been really cool. Like, yeah, the voice was off and everything, but my issue with the movie is, which obviously maybe Devin being the comic reader, he may have an answer to this. But at the beginning of the movie, there's the spider people, and their costumes looked just like Spider-Man, like the same eyes and everything. And Ezekiel, his suit looks just like Spider-Man's. But Peter Parker, he doesn't get born until the very end. So like it kind of cheapens Peter Parker's Spider-Man design. It's just like, well,
Well, I
how did
think-
he come up with this?
I think in my mind, the way that I rationalize it is that like they're all connected to the Great Web, the Web of Destiny.
Yeah.
And so like their own ideas may not be their own ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Just
Yeah.
And so
influence.
this look, just they're like, oh, I thought of this look. It's gonna be great, but they didn't really think of it. It's just something that they pulled from the Great Web that they didn't realize. You know what I'm saying?
Then maybe
Because every Spider Person's outfit looks the same.
yeah, then there needed to be something telling you that. Cuz like just from like me watching, just as like knowing that Spider-Man, that's an iconic look, the eyes, the webs, everything
Yeah.
about it. Even the colors, the red and blue that the tribes people had. Like they had the red little kind of ink paint on them and like kind of blue hue. So like it's just kind of like if you explained that a little bit, but it's a Spider-Man movie that's not about Spider-Man, and it was just boring. It
Yeah.
just was bad.
I felt like as I was watching the movie, Peter makes his web shooters.
Yeah.
Nobody has web shooters, but I could swear that there were moments when he was running through, like
The subway?
downtown at the like L.A.
Oh.
at the end, that like he would jump and you don't see it, but you hear like a
Yeah, in the warehouse, he even jumps and does like an arm thing. It's just like, wait, do you have
But
web
like the
slinging?
rest of the movie, they're so careful to be like, oh, he's only jumping places. That's all we ever see. But
When he
like,
was in the subway, it looked like he was using web shooters too. And I thought that was weird because I was like,
I think they did so much editing in post that they just
They
oh, we
maybe
can't
for,
do
they
that.
maybe
Yeah.
yeah, they maybe
yeah,
screwed
maybe
it
they
up.
thought they wanted it, and then
Yeah.
they're like, no, that doesn't make sense, and they tried to cut it.
Yeah,
Just
and
not very
then
well.
did a very bad job and didn't even remove it.
or maybe it's like a random pose that he does in the comic books or something, and they were like, we got to make sure we get this random pose in.
He does that
As many
Batman
shots.
pose from like the Batman Return comics where they're jumping through the air and he's like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really quick, there were just moments in the movie that made me just go like, wait a minute, what? And one of them was in the diner scene when Ezekiel shows up. Cassie. I keep wanting to say Madam Web, but that's not her name. Cassie. She's like goes into the woods and she's like, "Oh, where'd the girls go?" And she walks to the diner and makes it there like maybe like 2 or 3 minutes before Ezekiel shows up and kills, and then she flashes back into the
Yeah.
forest part, and she drives to the diner, and she made it to the diner faster walking than she did driving.
Yeah.
Well, I think the walking was more of a direct route to it, but also like within that time that she was walking, or she would have had to walk, she was in her vision.
Well,
And
still,
her vision took so damn long that by the time that it finished, she's like, "Oh, I heard that song in the jukebox. Oh shit, I gotta get in the
Yeah.
car and go."
I don't know, but like
it's not perfect sense, but it made sense to me.
it didn't make any
Oh.
sense to me. I'm like, because like she made it there a lot faster than she did driving. I'm just like, you
Also-
should just ran. Then you would have had like 8 minutes of time.
Also, this is the first time she hits him with a car, right?
Yes.
And then I literally put a note. I go, is her superpower driving? Because she hits this guy with a car twice.
Yes.
It like
Yeah.
no.
And also, after hitting him, she's in the most conspicuous car on the face of the planet, hiding out in a hotel. I'd be like, I'd call my little eye in the sky and be like, "Hey, turn on the CCTV screens, and
Look for a taxi with
yeah,
no
find a
license.
taxi with a huge dent in the front." Like,
Yeah.
like there was, I don't know. It's just, it was a silly movie. It was just dumb.
Well,
But I mean,
speaking of,
having the answer be hit him with your car twice, that's lame writing as well.
well,
Yeah.
speaking of hitting him with the car twice, that second time, like, could have been avoided. He just had to duck, but
Yeah.
instead he chose to jump in the path of the car.
Yeah, like, and does he not have spider sense? You know,
I guess
Should-
not.
I think they said that
exactly.
does.
He should.
I think all it
But
gave
if he
him,
can't-
yeah, I think all it gave him was just like the movements of a spider
Just
and
to
like
strengthen, yeah,
strengthen and hand. Oh, he's got like a venom touch.
The Venom touch,
Yeah, that like whenever he touches them for prolonged periods of time, they
And also,
die.
lame writing. I made notes. So one line in the movie, in the beginning, whenever her mom is researching these spiders, quote unquote, the peptides in these spiders' venom can supercharge the cells at a molecular level. What? Like, I literally put, what a fucking line. Like,
This whole movie had a
Well-
bunch of gold lines, I will say. Just like bad writing 101, where it's just like she's flipping through her mother's diary and everything, and she's like, "I hope the spiders were worth it, Mom." And it's
Yeah,
just
right.
like- yeah. And also, like, that whole birthday shower, that baby shower scene. I would not invite this woman to any party on the face of the planet. She is the biggest negative Nancy. She's just like, "Oh, Cassie, you didn't write anything down on yours." "Oh, because my mom died." And like, blah, blah, blah. "No, it's cool. I mean, mothers die in childbirth all the time, but you won't." And
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just like, bitch, just be considerate. Write something down, and just avoid
It's-
this whole awkward encounter.
that's just too hard for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, she just had to be all
I-
moody.
The lines that I was the biggest fan of were when they were in the subway and in the forest, where they're trying to ask her a bunch of questions. She goes, "I don't know. They just happened. Stop asking me." It's like, that's
Yeah.
Yeah,
realistic.
lame writing right there.
Yeah, that's
Like,
really
yeah,
bad writing.
Don't do dumb things.
Yeah.
Just don't do dumb stuff.
Yeah, like
So, yeah,
the makers of
accurate.
the makers of the movie don't even know what's going on, and they
Yeah, I
just,
mean that's how I would talk to kids.
yeah.
right?
Before I was rudely interrupted by a small redhead coming in the room. Some other lines that I have were they were just too meta about it. So
Mhm.
whenever Ben is resuscitating Cassie, after her car crash going in the water, and this is how she finds out her power or whatever, he go like as soon as she wakes up, she's like kind of just like standing there thinking real quick, and Ben just goes, "What happened down there?" No, you don't ask that. You know what happened. She was in a car. She crashed into the water.
Yeah.
She drowned.
There's nothing more to ask about that. And then whenever Ezekiel has that woman in his penthouse, whatever, Like, and you mentioned his little venom touch. He's holding onto her wrist. She goes, "What are you doing?" And in the next breath, she goes, "How are you poisoning me?" Like, no, like just these lines.
Yeah. Another good one with Cassie is whenever she's like reading the book, trying to like figure out like what powers she may have, and she's like, "How do you know if you can't climb a wall if you've never tried?"
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like, oh my
That was
god.
hilarious.
It's just it's a lazy movie. Like Sony
It
is
is.
Sony is so desperate for a franchise that they're throwing anything and everything they have Spider-Man universe at the wall and hoping something sticks.
And the ending was so bad. Like yeah, okay, I know that she's supposed to be blind, so they, like, she's in the water and she's just fucking staring
Yeah.
until something hits her in the face
The best
in
thing
the water.
Well, the best thing about the future is it hasn't happened yet. So,
Oh, what's the other one? It's she's blind and she's like, I can see better than I ever could.
yeah. It's just
she not
so
see it coming?
bad. It's so
Yeah, right. I
bad.
don't know.
It's a really bad movie.
Yeah,
and
again, hold on. I have two more lines and then I'm done.
okay.
One of them, I think, is one of the girls. They're just like, "Cassie, can we trust you?" Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just too much on that.
No,
But
no,
here,
I'll save your life.
here's the golden star at the end of the movie. When you accept the responsibility, great power will come.
Yeah, they changed the whole
Like,
with great power
exactly.
comes great
I
responsibility.
literally
thing.
put a dance too close
I rolled
to
my
the
eyes.
original.
Yeah. What did I say earlier in the group chat that like the girls weren't your future, I was, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just it's a silly. They went for this weird melodrama instead of making it fun. Like I feel like the drama in this was extremely forced and unneeded. Like there was just
Maybe they were trying a different formula, you know, because there's so many superhero films out there right now,
Yeah.
and this one definitely doesn't mimic the norm.
it definitely does not.
It mimics Morbius, maybe.
Oh yeah. I feel like the writer of
think I
Morbius
read
wrote this
shit.
one.
I saw on Twitter like, "Hey, do you think we could trick people again to bring back Madam Web like
Yeah.
they did Morbius back to the theater?"
Yeah, it's Madam Webbing
God,
time.
I hope not.
Yeah. I don't know. What were you gonna say, Flippo? I feel like you were about to chime in.
What would you rather watch, Madam Web or Morbius?
Oh. Honestly,
Man,
Morbius.
I'd rather count my fingers.
Yeah, I'd probably if I was
2 hours.
if I was forced at gunpoint, I'd probably watch Morbius. But I mean, at least Morbius tried to be fun. This movie, it had nothing. Like there was no like real moment in this movie where I'm like, oh, that was cool. The whole movie, I'm just like, please let this be over. Like I kept having to pause it and walk away. I'm like, I can't do this. This is
Take a
just
breather.
yeah. It's that
Get a
bad.
cool wet towel. Oh God.
Yeah. Also, really, it's a small complaint. Why was it set in 2003? Like,
Was it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess
To show
Technology.
Uncle
How was
Ben
it
being
shot? How was it
younger?
shot in 2003 when the one person had a smartphone?
Well, at the very beginning of the movie, like after the whole Peru and Cassie's mom dying thing,
Yeah.
it says 2003, and then all
Okay,
the
but one of the girls had a smartphone.
then that's
And the
just
first iPhone
then that's
didn't come out in 2003. did it?
Lazy.
then that's really bad filmmaking because like the whole like the Britney Spears Toxic
Oh my-
says this like on the radio it's like this one's gonna be a hit and all that stuff, so it's like whenever Britney
Did it
Spears
really?
yeah it's whenever Toxic
my
just
God.
came out, and like so it definitely takes place
This
in
movie gets worse
2003.
and worse as we talk about it.
Yeah, it definitely takes place in 2003, but yeah, that's
Oh
a
my
very
gosh.
interesting point with the smartphone.
So I also did not like their choice in children. Like
Yeah.
we know, well, like the teenagers we know are supposed to be like Spider.
Britney Spears Toxic was released January 12th, 2004.
So this movie's just it did no like it
It was
tried
recorded in 2003, but it wasn't released until 2004.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Then this movie's just bad. in all in
Oh my
every way.
God.
I don't know. It's just bad. What were you saying
just-
about kids?
I didn't like the teenagers that they chose. Not even necessarily the actors, but like the characters they chose.
The
like,
spider
Anya
people.
Corazon is the only one that like is well recognized as a Spider Woman. The other ones, while they exist, like they have not been in anything in the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would have been better off to do like a version of like Gwen Stacy's Ghost Spider than you would have to do one of them.
Well, they can't do that because Marvel actually owns it, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, no, Sony owns it because the Spider-Man the Across the Spider-Verse, that's
that Sony?
that's
Okay,
Sony
then.
Animation.
Marvel? Yeah.
So,
Marvel has permission to use these characters in animation, but they have to get permission to do it in live action.
yeah. Here's a question for y'all. The next Sony Spider-Verse movie coming down the pipe is Kraven. Given the track record of what we've had, Let There Be Carnage was not bad, but it wasn't good.
You know what? I still haven't seen that one.
Yeah, Morbius is trash. Madam Web is by far probably the worst one so far.
Yeah.
So what does that?
What are the scores? What are the scores between Morbius and Madam Web? Does anybody
The Rotten
know?
Tomatoes.
Yeah, look
go
them
ahead
up.
and just look that up.
But with that being,
Um,
but while they look that up, where
but
would
I mean,
would
is
it-
it like Kraven directly connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
No, it's still Sony. It's still a part of this Sony Spider-Verse cinematic
Gross.
universe.
Okay. Do you want the audience or the
Just give them both. Just give them both for
So
both of them.
Morbius is a 15 audience. I'm sorry, a 15 tomato meter and a 71 audience score.
But that's
Don't know
way too high.
That-
That's
ironic.
probably how they tricked him into pulling it back into theaters.
Yeah, that's way
and
too
then,
high.
What you want to know, Madam Web?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madam Web is a 12% tomato meter
Even
and
less
an audience score of 57%.
and less again.
Needs to
that's
be a little bit
bullshit.
lower.
I'm not surprised.
Let's
Um,
look at the other ones, right?
Audiences are dumb as hell.
yeah. Well, my question for y'all
I'm one
is.
of those audience members.
Well, my question for y'all.
Venom was 3080.
My question for y'all is, what does this bode for Kraven? Are we still excited for the Kraven, or are we starting
I'm
to
interested.
get? Are we getting worried because they have not been good, and I
To be honest,
genuinely
I wasn't
don't
even
think-
hyped up for Kraven anyways, so this
Even-
isn't.
Even Fantastic Four that they made, bad. Go look that up, Devin. The
Yeah.
Fantastic Four they made.
Oh,
That
the
reboot?
one with Michael B. Jordan.
the fan Fantastic. Yeah,
Kate Mara, I think her name is.
yeah, Rooney Mara,
And
Yeah,
Miles
that was
Teller.
Kate
What's his
Mara,
name?
I think.
It was This movie was even worse than Madam Web.
Really?
It got a 9% and an 18%.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I've never seen the Fantastic Four reboot. I
It's
might do
not
that.
good. It's so.
Yeah.
Not
Let's
good.
review all of these terrible Sony films.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rank them by what
Sony,
they-
just give it to Marvel, man. Come on.
Yeah,
For real.
X-Men is Fox, right?
Say
huh?
what?
Yeah.
X-Men is Fox. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't excited for Kraven either. I got really put off whenever they decided to make him not a hunter, like he's an animal activist and all that stuff, and that really goes against what Kraven
Then what
is.
makes him craven?
Yeah, he's a
That's
hunter.
not hunting people.
What makes him the hunter?
Something happens and they inject him with lion something.
Yeah, he's got like
something,
some kind of lion or animal DNA in him now, and like he like tries to
Wait.
protect animals and all that stuff, and that's not what Kraven the Hunter is. And
In
so
the comics,
yeah, and so
he's just a buff human.
I'm
Yeah,
watching the
I don't
trailer. Well,
know.
he takes like potions and other things to like really
Oh.
like power him up. I'm watching the trailer now, so I'll be able to tell you specifically
Just
like what
man-made.
about him.
Man-made elixirs, at least.
But I'm worried. I don't think Sony knows how to make a good movie, like a good comic book movie anymore. Like now that
Absolutely.
now that they've lost Spider-Man to Marvel, who actually did it good, and they have nothing, and they're trying to
Back in
find.
the right hand.
Yeah, they're trying to find something. So far, they have Venom, and that's it. Everything,
Wasn't even that good.
yeah, and everything that they're trying is not working out to their advantage, and it's starting to get really noticeable that they have no idea what the fuck they're doing.
They make good Spider-Man games.
Yeah,
Just not good movies.
did a really bad job. Well, hell, Insomniac made a really good Spider-Man game. Sony just backed them, like did the publishing.
I guess true.
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
that's still
real
the point
engine
still
behind it.
stands. Does Sony know how to make a good comic book movie? Well, let's
Track record says absolutely not.
yeah, well, let's do final thoughts and capes really quick. Let's start with Tim, since you did not watch the full travesty of the movie. Let's hear your final thoughts and capes on the movie.
I'm still gonna finish the movie just because the way that you guys have described the rest of it makes it sound hilarious. So I'm gonna
Oh,
be
God,
in it for
don't.
the lulls.
See, it wasn't even so bad it was good. It was just bad. So yeah.
It's not even ironically bad.
Yeah.
Or good, I mean.
So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll probably where it's at, where I finished so far, how far I've gotten up to. I'd say it's probably around 2 capes.
Okay, that's fair. I would have gone lower, but yeah, 2 is okay. So not Tim, Devin. Final thoughts and capes.
Do all bald men just look the same to you, Gray?
Kind of.
Um,
Like I have trouble
no.
telling y'all apart.
So before I go into that, that's an insult to Tim. I watched the trailer to see how Kraven becomes like Kraven and all his powers and stuff. So when he's young, he's like taking on a hunt with his father, and he's like hesitating to shoot a lion, and the lion just mauls him. and then like as he's laying there, I guess the father or someone shoots him, and a drop of the lion's blood lands directly into one of his wounds, and that is how it seems like he got his powers.
Right.
Based on the
Interesting.
trailer.
That's dumb. What are
Yeah,
your
it's dumb.
what
That
are
is
your
very weak.
what are your final thoughts and capes?
It's not worth it. It was a waste of my time, and the fact that I had to watch it on my phone and could do nothing else on my phone while I watched it.
Oh yeah, I hate that crap.
I feel like I had to watch it though because I didn't watch some of the other things we've reviewed lately, and so I was like, I gotta get through this. I gotta have opinions, and now we all share the same opinion. It's
Yeah.
trash.
It was bad.
I'll give it. I'm gonna give it a 0. Like
0
it
capes.
doesn't owe me anything, but like it doesn't owe me any. It should owe me things.
It owes you
but I
time.
just-
It owes
does owe me
it owes you that 2 hours back. Okay.
Yeah.
Reed, final thoughts, capes?
Final thoughts. Yeah, every component about this movie was weak. Shots, dialogue, CGI, dubbing, whatever. Like even the little red spider that he had was weakly CGI'd. So yeah, very, very not good. I honestly don't know what I want to rate it right now.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, maybe just a 0.
Yeah.
Because just everything bad.
Fair enough. Sorry, Tim and Devin are flexing, and Devin put his hand on his arm to give him like the illusion of muscle.
That's a muscle.
Wait. So something that I forgot about until Reed said it. That the spiders, the one that he stole, and he's like, oh, the arachnid tribesman was like, oh, he's cursed because he stole the spider. But like that guy would just like pull out the spider and just like let it walk around his hand.
Just play with
Why?
it.
Like, why did that spider not leave?
Why did
why
he
did
take
not-
it anyway? You know?
Well, yeah, but also like when he's like has it in captivity and he pulls it out and he's just like letting it walk on its hand. If I were a spider and I was like part of this tribe, I'd be like, ooh, I'd be so mad. I wouldn't have. I probably would have.
I don't think the spider is a part of the
Yeah,
tribe.
I don't think the spiders are that sentient.
Yeah, he doesn't
I
have
just think
a voting position in the council. He's just a spider that they use.
I didn't
They're
vote
so
for
well
you.
trained. They're so well trained in the caves, and then out here, this guy's just got it. It's like,
What do you mean they're well trained? What scene was it where they're jumping through hoops and doing like a tiny spider
like-
circus? Like they're
It was
what
like
do you mean
climbing on him
trained?
while he was in that pond in the cave, and he's just like climbing on his hand. And he's just like brings it down. It's like, oh, I know exactly where I'm going.
Oh,
I'm
that
fighting
yeah.
this girl
The
with a
spider walked and bit something like it normally does. What a well trained animal.
But didn't
What
you
a
exactly?
world to live in. What a fantasy world to live in.
Yeah.
I hate y'all.
I love you. Flippo, what are your final thoughts and capes?
One cape, and I almost fell asleep like 4 times trying to watch it.
Yeah. It's just lazy.
There's nothing grabbed my attention.
Yeah. Same here.
Like, would I rather watch 50 Shades of Grey? Maybe.
I haven't seen that either. Yeah, maybe.
But I'd be willing.
At least I know something happens in that movie. But yeah, I don't know.
They go all through the shades of gray.
They count them off.
Here,
and
there's
there's
50 of them.
Well, for me, we all hit the nail on the head. It sucks. It's a very lazy, poor written movie. Sony just needs to stop. They don't know what they're doing, and just put the movies down and do something else, because this isn't working for y'all.
I don't think
um,
it's movies that need to be put down.
Sell the rights back to Marvel to
Yeah.
actually make a profit off
Just
of.
give it
because you're
to-
not
yeah.
gonna do it the way you're doing
Just give it to them. Y'all are just a laughing stock now.
it. Absolutely.
It's I'm scared to see any new comic book movie y'all come up with, because I know it's just
What
gonna be
else would they
trash.
be able to come up with?
Well,
Well,
they're doing
there's
a
Venom. There's
3.
Venom 3. There's
I'm kinda
Craven.
sad about that.
They were teasing that they were doing some kind of wrestler movie that is also a Spider-Man villain, but they stopped doing that. I don't know. They don't.
They were gonna
I'd
send
love
it
to
the
see a comedy for, like, what's that dude's name? Crowbar? The dude with just like the really hard head. What's his
Hammerhead.
name?
Hammerhead.
What?
Hammerhead.
Hammerhead? Yeah,
Yeah.
Hammerhead.
crowbar.
This is a really silly movie about this really silly supervillain who gets stopped by the police. Spider-Man shows up on scene and he's like, "Don't worry, Spider-Man, we already got him." Spider-Man's like, "Oh man."
Oh, jeez.
I'd want to watch a movie of Hammerhead and Crowbar. Crowbar's hard somewhere else, Tim.
Yeah, move over, Batman and Robin. Hammerhead and Crowbar are the new dynamic duo. Oh yeah, so as far as capes go, I think it owes me something. This was just it was unwarranted. This was an assault on my senses and my eyes. Like, it was just a bad movie. So I think it owes me at least one cape.
It's been a while since we complained about something this hard.
Yeah, this because it was trash. This was trash.
Yeah, just weak, like I said. Just
Yeah.
absolutely weak.
So don't watch the movie. Listen to this podcast instead. That's what y'all need to do.
It'll
We'll tell
save
you
you
all
an
about
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just rip on it with us.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and end it there then.
Thank you guys for joining us today with the Cape Complainers.
Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
And make sure to check out our YouTube and Twitch. We're streaming again on Sundays.
Podcasts, where to listen to them? Anywhere. Just search the Cape Complainers. You'll find us. If you have the chance, rate it 5 stars or 4, whatever you think we deserve. We probably deserve a 4. And don't forget that nobody complains like a fan. We will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.